This is definitely easier, and this does a lot of things for you, including setting up a LinkedIn API, which you would have to do on your own with n8n. This is a fail. Right, so today we're testing out Kadabra. It's similar to n8n, but it attempts to automate all the node generation for you. So it takes out the process of having to develop your own custom workflows and tries to create a workflow for you. We're going to test that out today, and we're going to see how it works generating a LinkedIn lead gen pipeline. We'll draw comparisons to n8n creating the same pipeline and compare the differences and see how easy this tool is to use. Starting out here, Kadabra gives you an interface and asks you to tell it what you want it to do, what kind of workflow you want to create. And as you can see here, we've asked it to create a LinkedIn gen pipeline, lead gen pipeline, based on the services that we offer on our website. You can see it going through the steps here, and it's automatically configured the type of nodes that it needs to create. It started out with a couple LinkedIn nodes. It now wants to save stuff into Google Sheets, which we'll amend later. And it's going to attempt to go through here and create all the different nodes that are necessary to develop the LinkedIn lead gen pipeline. After about 2 minutes, it splits out a plan for the flow. And you can see the different nodes that it's developed here to get our lead gens out of LinkedIn and into a Google Sheets. Now we're going to modify this a little bit later so we can put it into a Notion database instead. But for now, this is fine. We'll see how it develops these nodes, how it sets everything up, and how it guides you through the process. Now you can see it gives you a little tutorial here on how to test and run and modify the nodes. So you can see it's selected the extract info from website node. It showed you the different inputs that are available there to modify, and it's showing you how you can test that node. Jumping forward a couple minutes here, you can see it's gone through the rest of the nodes and tested them to make sure they're working properly. It's set up our LinkedIn node, and now it's asking us to connect to Google Sheets. It first asks if you have one set up, and we already do. So we're going to go ahead and connect this. And once we have this connected, it will test the full workflow, and it'll see if the workflow is working properly and we're getting our LinkedIn leads connected and inputted into our Google Sheet. Well, at least that's the idea. It failed to actually grab the sheets I had in my Google account, so I wasn't able to actually add the sheet I needed to insert the rows. Instead, I asked it to insert into a temporary database, and it asked me if I have a temporary database set up. It tried to add a Postgres database. However, I decided to go with Notion and decided to put it into a Notion database just for ease of access to show for example purposes. And because a lot of people use Notion to organize their leads and follow up later. One thing that really bothered me going through this process is even though I had a Notion node set up, it constantly wanted to create a new one. So if I asked to change something, it would go through the flow again and it would try and create a new Notion node, rather than modifying the existing node that I had there. You can see I ask it to update the keywords that are searching in LinkedIn, and it asks if we need to create a new temporary Notion table to store the LinkedIn leads rather than using the Notion node that I already had set up. So we've set up our Notion node and our Notion database once again, and it says our flow is ready to go, and now it tests the whole flow to see that it's actually inserting the leads as expected. However, it finds that our Notion node is not tested and the leads are not inserted, so we have to take a look and see what's going on here. Upon inspection, I realized that the nodes were not mapped correctly to the rows in the Notion database. No problem, we can go in and we can fix that ourselves. However, the point of this tool is that it's supposed to automate the whole workflow generation for you. It makes me question who this tool is really for. If you have the technical ability to do the mapping yourselves, hypothetically, n8n is a better option for you. You can host it yourself, it's free, you can customize the nodes to your heart's desire. However, this tool is a little bit less flexible, but still requires that custom mapping and technical ability to understand where the nodes are breaking or where the workflow is not working. We end up running out of credits here, so we can't even test the full end-to-end workflow to see if our LinkedIn leads are being added to the Notion database. So I had to share an invite with a friend and get some extra credits, kind of a great promotion. So now we're reloaded. We have 896 approximately credits. We'll go back to our LinkedIn pipeline gen and see if this sorted itself out. Now we're comparing here with n8n. We used Claude to generate a workflow in n8n and then set up and modified the parameters a little bit so that we could get exactly a very similar output to what we have here. It says we have insufficient credits, but we should be good to go now. So let's test the flow and see if we get our leads inputted into our Notion database correctly. Doesn't look like that worked. So these are just sample ones that I left in here. Creation date, see results. Yeah, it just says creation date. So what I think we have to do, 20 fields without results. I think we have to map these better. Covered image, database description, database ID, which it didn't do automatically. So what I'm trying to do here is see if Kadabra will automatically map the fields for me, because the hypothetical user for this would not go in and map the fields themselves or really know how to do so. And what we'll do is we'll just save these results. Nice thing here too, it also lets you download them, which is kind of cool. Like, this is a nice view. And you can download them like this. We've got some leads here. Now, in my attempt to try and get Kadabra to automatically map the fields that are outputted from the LinkedIn lead gen into the Notion database, it iterated and deleted and created a new temporary node for Notion 5 or 6 times before I decided to stop and cancel the build. You could... I can't go back and show you, but every time it's doing this, this is using credits. And you can see it's tried to create a temporary database for LinkedIn leads 5 times now and just keeps deleting the node. So we're obviously caught in a loop. It's not working. So that used 250 credits to do nothing. That's unfortunate. Okay, it's not going to automatically put these leads into our Notion database. What we need to do now is map the nodes ourselves, the output from the LinkedIn node into the Notion node. However, I realized some of the formatting was not correct and we cannot map them to how it's set up in our Notion database. I needed to add a transformation node. So here I'm playing around, trying to map the fields, realizing that this isn't going to work out, and eventually I have to ask Kadabra to add a transformation node. I can do this myself, but I'm trying to see how this tool works automatically. Okay, this is kind of nice. The reason I like seeing stuff like this is it gives you a visual representation of what the code is doing. So yeah, this is Python. I mean, I could edit this myself, no problem. I know Python quite well, but somebody who's coming in here to use this type of agent is not going to know what's going on here. They're not going to read through this. They're not going to know it's using regex to split stuff out. What I have to do now is I have to actually add in my own code to do a couple things here. Firstly, we want to split the position from the title, and we want to add position as a column. And then we also want to add rank so that it comes out as an integer rather than a string. Oh man, I don't know what happened. I broke it. I can't edit my Notion node now. Maybe we gotta test it from here? I don't know. No, doesn't like that. We were so close. Come on, let me edit it. So far this has taken approximately an hour. I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's saving time. I don't think it is. And far less customizable. I think you could make do with Claude or ChatGPT, just guiding you how to use n8n, and you learn so much more. But I like the tool. I like what they've done here. It's just not. It's like every other agentic AI thing I've used. It's just not there. It's close. And when I finally added a new Notion node after I got the white screen of death and I recoded all the information so that it would map correctly and I would get the position and I would get the rank, I ran out of credits again. So I was never able to complete it. And here I am looking at the credit statement, seeing, okay, how much does it cost per month? 5,000 credits per month. That's it? For $9 a month? Oh, you'd run out of that so quick. That's not enough. I've already used 1,500 credits somehow. I don't think it's there yet. This needs a lot of work. You would spend so much money just trying to figure this, just something simple that can be done in n8n really quickly. We can help. Find links in the description for more information. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.